going to go to the 718 area code.
Hello, am I on now?
Hi there. Would you be kind enough to identify yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Tom Kiley, and I'm calling to you from Brooklyn, New York, where
Hey, Tom,
work.
how you doing? Tom Kiley
Great.
from INN, right?
That's correct.
Hey,
Hi,
buddy.
is that Jack?
Hey, how you doing? Long time no speak.
Yeah, at the time of 9/11, I was employed by a financial software company in Lower Manhattan. Our office was about 6 blocks south and 1 block east of the World Trade Center. And many of our clients were in and around the World Trade Center, including Cantor Fitzgerald up on the upper floors of the North Tower. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there was many times I was in the North Tower waiting to go up to see them. And I remember sometime before September 11th, months before, maybe even a year before, I thought, I noticed something strange, that certain of the elevator shafts had been closed off to public access, and they were secured by guards that were standing there. And we were told that there was some maintenance going on in the elevator shafts, and these were not available to us. And you notice that because you're going in to see your client, and you're looking at the watch, and you want to get up there, and now it takes you longer because you have fewer elevators that you can use. And one of the elevators was an express elevator that went all the way up to Windows on the World. That one was closed as well. And there was signage directing customers to Windows on the World that they would have to take one of the other elevators. There was express elevators. There was 2 mezzanines up in the World Trade Center, and there would be an express elevators from the ground floor to the first mezzanine. And then after that fateful day, I remembered this situation, and it occurs to me that somebody had secure access to the core of that building. And I always wondered, was the same thing going on in the South Tower? So when I met Richard Gage for the first time, I brought all this up with him, and he said that they had become aware of this. And it's a very interesting story. In fact, there was the same work going on in the South Tower. And all this work began 9 months before September 11th. Does anybody remember what else happened 9 months before September 11th?
Was that the OCC?
Well, it's another one of the many 9/11 coincidences. George Bush was sworn into office about 9 months or so before September 11th. So very curious that this work began at that time. So I just wanted to share this with everybody. It was a strange elevator company that did the work, a relatively no-name company that mysteriously got the maintenance contract in, I think, 94 after the first attack. And prior to that, the elevators were fabricated by one of the world's leading elevator companies, Otis. And one other curious note, the elevator workers basically disappeared that morning after the first plane hit, which is extremely unusual because the firefighters rely on the elevator workers to help them get through a damaged and burning building. So I just want to know if any of you guys were aware of that, if anybody's on that story.
I was not aware of it. Yuki, have you had any intimations about strange elevator repair going on in both the North or the South Tower prior to, but suddenly stopping immediately upon?
No, I have never heard of it. Maybe others know, but I do not know this information.
Yeah, Indy, I actually interviewed, and maybe Tom could help me with his name. I believe it was Scott Kelly, but he had worked for one of the banking industries, I believe, as a computer technician in the World Trade Center towers. And just a week before the towers, they sent everybody home. Before 9/11, they sent everybody home, and they did some repair work in there. There were a lot of maintenance guys going in that nobody recognized. A lot of this really goes together. I'm going to look up the gentleman's name because I interviewed him just a couple of years ago, and he was an eyewitness to the entire facility being shut down just before 9/11. So I think if you're looking for an opportunity, that certainly could have been one of many.
Well, this you can ask anybody who used to use those elevators. There are literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who witnessed the same thing. Certainly customers to Windows on the World who were inconvenienced would remember it, and I'm sure the management of Windows on the World. So this is a very open secret. I've heard reports up to maybe 50% of the building was not occupied. So that also would give people plenty of opportunity to get into floors uninterrupted and do some kind of mischief. So when you hear people who refused to face the truth say, well, how could anybody have the opportunity to do this? The central core of the building was had shafts that were blocked off, and there were many, many floors that were not occupied.
Okay, Tom, if you don't mind, I'm going to go on to another caller.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to raise that point and thank Mr. Fujita very much for his work.
Hey, you keep up the good work too, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. That's a great insight, and I'm happy to meet you, and I hope we can have more communications.
Bye, Jack, and bye, Mr. Fujita.
Hey, it was Scott Forbes who worked in the tower, and he was on my radio program a few years back describing how his company required him to make preparations for this power down the weekend before 9/11. Just a stunt. People can just Google Jack Blood, Scott Forbes, and it just shows some opportunity there for sure.
One more thing. I believe there was an article in USA Today talking about this elevator work and the mysterious disappearance of the elevator workers. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom.
Good work.
Okay, guys, we're taking a break. We'll be right back.